And we are recording, and I want to welcome everybody tonight to the Creating Wealth and Joint Ventures and with Joint Ventures and Strategic Alliances. And of course, I'm here with my beautiful girl, Vicki, sitting right next to me all these years, every webinar, and that's a picture of her down there at the bottom. And she's really glad that everyone's here. And I want to thank everyone for their time being here tonight, too, because I know that time is important. It's the most valuable thing that you have, and you can't get it back, and I would never waste it. So, and I know that you being here is makes you serious about your business, but serious about joint ventures. And I want to just reiterate real quick that joint ventures and strategic alliances is how list building and real wealth is created online. And a lot of the big guys won't tell you that kind of thing, but it really is. So we're going to go into exactly what that is and why it's so incredibly important. I go through a lot of important webinars, but this is probably one of the most important topics I've ever discussed. And working with people can be precarious. It can be risky. You know, you don't really know who you're working with out there. So I really appreciate you guys being here. I am your host, Colin Martin, and this is part of the Real Content, Real Training series for 2014. We're about halfway through the year, well, a little bit more than halfway through the year here. So I'm glad that everyone's been with me all this time. We're going to have a live Q&A at the end, so stick with that. Now, in the news, if you happen to be in Virginia Beach, August 9th and 10th, which is just coming up in a couple weeks, Tom's having his famous electronic internet marketing butt camp again. So he's doing that every 3 or 4 months now at the Internet Marketing Training Center in Virginia, and I'd love to have you come out there because I'll be speaking again. And I'll be offering my presentation there for the last time. And I might do some other one butt camps, but I'll be offering that exact presentation and my offer to work with me for the last time on that one, August 9th and 10th. What's funny is I'll be selling jewelry on the 10th out in the mountains, and I'll have to come back late Saturday night about 3 o'clock in the morning, get up at 9 or 8 and try to speak at 1 o'clock the following day. So wish me luck on that. Let's get right into joint ventures, and I really want to reiterate again, this is extremely important, what joint ventures are and how to use them wisely to list build and make money. So what is a joint venture exactly? Well, it's a mutual partnership to promote products and services for a commission on sales. That's not a black and white strict definition, but it's basically what it is. And of course, they can be online. We see that in this community the most. With webinars, teleclasses, product launches is another big one. They always involve some kind of promotion for commissions on the sales, and we're going to get to that here. Or it can just be offline as well. You don't see that as often, but I'm going to be doing more of those actually, so I'll explain those in a minute. They're not the same thing as affiliate marketing. Now, we're all familiar with putting a banner or a link to someone's products and trying to sell that product for an affiliate commission, but this is different. A venture itself is basically a one-time or just once or twice giant major promotion or event, and that is promoted to someone's database or email list, and a big event will take place, such as a product launch or a series of webinars, all in a tight period of time, and we try to get as many people as possible. So the affiliate is one link, one click, one visitor at a time, but a joint venture event is something where we try to get as many people as possible, pitch the product, and try to do a gigantic amount of sales. And you've seen these. They're otherwise known as strategic alliances. I've heard that said, or they take the form of telesummits, product launches, or email promotions. And they can take place in the form of something similar to this, a webinar or a teleclass. Even a Google Hangout is working these days, and social media campaigns, and even live seminars. Now, what's great about joint venture opportunity, and this is where I learned the real value of what a joint venture really was in the early days when I didn't even have a list of my own. And I built my list. The majority of my list in my community was built from joint ventures, because list building, there's a lot of ways to build a list, but there's no guarantees that you're going to get the traffic, that people are going to watch a YouTube video or download your Kindle book or whatever. You can do all of that, and all of that always has its place in list building. But a joint venture, you literally can get hundreds and hundreds, even thousands of people into your community all at one time. So you can be an absolute newbie. You don't even need to have a traditional or expensive website. You can literally do this with just a sales letter and a product and just knowing someone. You don't need to be famous. A lot of people don't want to approach someone who's got a big name for themselves if they don't have one for themselves. And they go, well, why would that person want to promote me? Well, there's one reason. It's for the money. If the product is right and the information is right and it complements or excites that person's database or email list, there's an opportunity for them to make money because you don't have to be famous. It's just that the person promoting you, if they have a big name, just the fact that they're promoting it at all makes you have a big name for yourself. On a lot of big guru lists or whatever kinds of people you want to work with that have a big database, those communities actually love those people to death. And what they want is they trust what is promoted. So if the big name says, hey, Colin Martin's got this great copywriting product, the list says, well, if Bob Smith says it must be good, he's our guru, then Colin must be the bomb, So you almost become a big name by association. And what this is called is pre-framing your expert status. Now, it's hard to do that yourself. You can't walk around going, I'm the expert. But when someone big says that to their community, they'll believe it. And that's part of the joint venture magic. And I've used 3 big elements here as joint venture advantages for myself, and that is getting people to say that I'm the guy they need to trust, the go-to guy in the industry, making real money from a list that I don't even have, and also building the list through opt-ins. So you don't need to be anyone to actually approach a joint venture partner, but you do need to know exactly how to do it. I'm going to show you that tonight. And you do need a product and a way to deliver it. So you just need a product and an e-commerce system or something that will deliver the product. You also need expertise in something, obviously. It can be anything, but it should be complementary to that database. You need a sales letter. If you don't know how to write one, I can show you how to do that. You also need affiliate tracking function. A lot of people, they're not going to want to work with you unless they can track the sales. They're not just going to trust you when you say, hey, we sold 20 of them. They want to be able to log in and see the exact sales. And of course, it's nice if you have good customer service, because that's probably the biggest thing that joint venture partners like to look at is your ability to service the customer. Because if you're delivering the product and dealing with the customer, you don't want any complaints coming back to the joint venture partner. So there are a number of things here that you're going to want to take notes on. And remember, there's going to be a lot of material in here, so don't try to jot it all down or don't try to remember it. You'll be able to download slides and you can look at it like an ebook at any time you're ready to do this. Now, why should you be the joint venture partner? Well, eventually, if you build your own community, you can make money yourself. So you can promote to a database to a large amount of sales. And if you are selling the product, you can make sales with your own list. It also means a lot of income. And again, we talked on brand name recognition, but it brings you a lot of new customers into your community, and you can build an email list. I'm going to show you how to siphon off the opt-ins properly into your database from someone else promoting you. They could be doing it on Facebook or email list, however it is. And again, how visible you are. If someone says, if you do a lot of joint ventures and someone says that you're the go-to person in the industry, then you become online visible, and that will increase your expert framing. Now, what I was getting to just a second ago was if you're the promoter, if you're able to promote a joint venture to your community, that makes it look like a goodwill gesture. So you have an opportunity to offer new training and important resources to your own community that they're going to benefit from. It can also make you a lot of money if you work with someone that's got a really good product at the right price points. And we're going to go over exactly what price points, what products, what things are people looking for. It can also give you a recurring income opportunity from, let's say, if someone's selling a membership or some kind of group coaching or something that has a monthly fee. You could make money every month. And that's actually the big ticket thing that people are looking for when they're looking for promotions. So you can make an income without your own product. If you just have a list big enough, you can promote joint venture promotions to your list from all sorts of people all over the world. And you don't have to spend time making and building your own products. You're going to be building a list, and you're also going to be getting commissions. So that's what a lot of the big guys do that they don't really explain. And people like Tom Antion, for instance, he just had a webinar last week. You might have seen it, about crowdfunding with a guy, Roberto Candelera, a friend of mine. And he approached Tom, and Tom said, yeah, that sounds good. I'll promote it to my list. And he did 3 webinars over the weekend, last weekend, promoting this crowdfunding webinar. And Roberto sold a product at the end. Tom split it 50-50, or he split it with Tom 50-50, and they both made tons of money. And Roberto was able to get hundreds, literally hundreds, nearly 1,000 people into his list. And he hasn't been doing this that long, so he doesn't have a list that big. So he practically doubled it in one promotion. Of course, you can't be a JV partner yourself to promote to a list unless you have a list. And part of doing joint ventures is building a big enough community so that you have your chance of being the promoter, the joint venture partner. And I'll show you exactly how to do that tonight. So I'd like to show you a small case study here about what I did a long time ago when I first started doing this. Now, I didn't have a list. The list was like 400 people. It took me forever at that point to actually build up to 400 people, okay? So I really wasn't doing any kind of business. It was just too small. I really didn't know what to do, but I had a really nice product. So I contacted this guy. Don't want to mention his name up front. Call him Mr. X for now. But he had an email list of 20,000 people. So I approached him and about a product that I was selling, and it was a YouTube product. And I was selling it through a webinar I presented. It was a video creation webinar. And I was selling it for $197. So all he did was send out 3 email promotions. I wrote the emails, he sent them out, and he was able to get 500 people out of that 20,000 to register for the webinar. So I got 190 people attended the live presentation, okay? And on that presentation, this was my first time trying this, very first time. So this is a case study for all of you if you haven't tried this yet. In that presentation, I sold 31 products. And 31 times 197 is $6,107. I paid the partner a 40% commission, so he got $24.42, and I made $36.65 and added the 500 people to my email list. So now I had $3,600 in my bank account and 500 people added to a list of 400. I doubled it. And that person got $2,400 for basically sending out 3 emails. That was it. I'm not even sure if he even showed up to the webinar to even introduce me or not. He might have been busy. So that was my very first attempt at a joint venture. And it wasn't someone utterly famous where I didn't think they were untouchable. It's just that 20,000 isn't really that big a list, you know. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of people in your industry, people that you may know or that you do business with all the time that have lists of 20 and 30 and 70,000 people. Now, when you get into the bigger names that might have 500,000 people or something like that, it could be a little bit more difficult. But I'm going to show you some things here tonight that could get them to say yes, even though they don't know you that well yet. So I repeated the same process. I thought, well, this is such a great idea. I'm going to go ahead and repeat this process. So I did it 13 times from June to November of 2011. So I called everyone I knew and said, hey, do you want to do a joint venture partner with me? And some people said yes, some people said no. And I kind of figured out the formula of what they were really looking for. And with the questions that they asked me, I was able to refine my message so that they didn't have to ask questions. I instantly knew what they were looking for. And I'll have that formula here in just a second. But over that 6-month period of time, I made nearly $30,000. That was after commissions that I paid. So I actually paid out almost that much too. About $25,000 I paid out that year in commissions, but I got to keep $29,000. But the important thing was, and this is the most important thing and the hardest thing out there to do, I added 6,500 new people to my list. And in that same period of time, I only added just over 1,000 people to the list through all other list building techniques that I know of, which is about 20, okay, including YouTube videos, ebook giveaways, dedicated opt-ins, all this stuff. So over 6 months, I added 1,100 people. So I'm only looking at 2,000 people a year trying to build a list through traditional list building methods. But I was able in 6 months to add 6,500 people that already knew me or were introduced to me because they saw me on a webinar. Not only that, these joint venture partners told 6,500 people that I was the man they should be listening to, and they were proud to promote me. Now, that creates a pre-existing indoctrination in those 6,500 people that is far more powerful than 1,100 people who sign up anonymously through a freebie to get a free ebook or something and then possibly unsubscribe. So those 6,500 people were more apt. They were hotter leads and more apt to buy from me in the future. So that was why that was so important. And with a list of 6,500 people, if you have one, and I've measured this, an average email promotion to invite people to a webinar such as this one tonight averages about $1,000 for a promotion that I'll send out to 6,500 people, whether that's promoting a joint venture or having a webinar where I sell a product or just asking people to join a paid webinar or group coaching model or just sending out some kind of affiliate product. It can average right around $1,000. So you can start thinking of the money you're making, but you have to have a list of 6,500 hungry people. So that's why that money really becomes substantial down the road and why this is so important. I really can't express just how critical this is into building a business. And again, internet truth number one for tonight, and the transparency I'm going to share with you tonight, is that this is how I built my business. And sitting around waiting for someone to come to a website store and just buy something, what I call cold traffic, or waiting for lists to opt in for free ebooks and selling on Kindle and whatnot, is not how I've made any money at all. In fact, it's just a small fraction of different streams of income that I have. The major money is doing joint ventures. This is why this is so important, and why I'm going to have an offer here at the end for me to help you craft a joint venture strategy that you can use with whatever product you have. Try to identify the partners and do it right the first time, because if you don't do it right the first time, they won't answer your emails again. They only got one shot at this. So let's take a look at how to acquire email addresses. So we talked about people opting in and building that list. Well, that's extremely important. In fact, it's the most important part of all this that I can think of, because you want your own community from this. You just don't want the money. The money's a one-time thing. That's fine, but you really want the community building. So what you want to do is you give a link to your partner, and it's an affiliate link, and it can be created in any number of software programs. And it's a link so that they can track their sales, as we talked about a little earlier. But instead of a link just going directly to, say, a webinar registration page or a teleclass or giving away the PIN number, you want it to go to an opt-in form first. So there's an opt-in form between the link that you're giving your joint venture partner that they use for registration and the information about the webinar or teleclass or telesummit or whatever it is, or product launch. Why do I do that? Because I want to siphon off the email addresses from that person's list before I give them the webinar registration, and that's extremely important. So, and the reason I say that is that they have to opt in. Sometimes the joint venture partner will go, well, why do you want them to opt in? And I say, well, I need their addresses to send them the recordings and bonuses and other information. And they go, okay, well, that makes sense. After the people opt into the form, then they get redirected instantly to the registration page. And now all those registrants will be in your email list. And of course, that will kick off a set of autoresponders that can upsell more products and more services. This is an example here of a dedicated opt-in that I used when I did a Mike Stewart. Mike Stewart, the internet audio guy, very popular out there. A lot of you guys know him. And I did a webinar with him. He promoted my YouTube webinar. He also promoted a Extreme Website Critiques webinar and Stealth Persuasion. So he's done a couple with me. He's got a great list, great community. But they came in and had to opt in. I even put a picture of Mike there just so that they knew that it was Mike who was endorsing this. And I put the registration opt-in. As soon as they opted in, they got the email or the registration information. So I was able to get that email address into my database, which is the most critical part of a joint venture or strategic alliance that you can do with anybody. Remember, it's not just about the money. It's about building that community. It's very important. So there's 4 big things. Here's the 4 big things that a partner is looking for that you have to have for this to succeed like it should. And first off is a product or service that complements their list, something that they would find valuable. Don't ever approach a joint venture partner who has a giant list of dog trainers with some kind of internet marketing thing. Or don't try to approach someone who's got a list of public speakers with some kind of diabetes product. It needs to be something that they find valuable. And that's the most important thing. And you'd be surprised at how many offers people get, these joint venture partners, Tom and myself and other people, with products that have nothing to do. They would not be interested. We know that right up front. So that's a killer right there. And also, they're also looking for a substantial commission. I mean, if you're not going to offer a decent commission, and I'm going to give you the exact commission rates that work the best here in just a second, you're killing them. If you go, well, I'll give you like 8 or 5%, they're going to be like, click. It doesn't work, okay? They really want a lot.
I just wanted to let you know that it's getting ready to start storming bad, so if they lose connection.
Oh, okay, big storm's coming, so if I disappear, it wasn't the aliens. Anyway, thanks, Vicki, for that weather update. Also, it also needs to have a decent price on the product or service. You can't be offering a $20 product to a joint venture partner. It needs to be a decent price, and I'll show you what those are. These are all specific things they're always looking for. And of course, a solid sales letter, one that converts, that's been tested, that just looks good. If your sales letter stinks, the joint venture partner's not going to want to work with you because they're not going to make any money. And you want to deliver a product that has what I call the quadfecta of product offerings, and this is what they're really looking for as well. A product that has some physical elements, like such a printed book or a printed workbook that they can print out, a digital version, such as MP3s or streaming video, a personal version, such as like a monthly workshop where people who buy the product can all come and ask you questions, sort of a personal coaching part of it, and a recurring feature such as a membership site or some kind of group coaching. If you have all of those, they're going to love that because most people don't give them that kind of power in the products. So it's very important. What will kill your chances of being selected for a partnership? So if you wonder why someone turned you down, it may have been one of these factors here. So eliminate these first and have a better success rate in terms of getting your joint venture partner on board. Well, having no affiliate tracking software, they're going to say, sorry, if I can't track my sales, I can't work with you. I mean, there's a lot of trust there. That doesn't work except for people who know each other very well, which is not that often out there in internet land. Also, too small an item with a low price point, such as an ebook or some kind of app. You have to have some kind of what we call signature product. And I've talked about signature products over in my Dream Alliance, and I've also had some webinars on those, but it's a substantial product with a substantial price point. And also too small a purchase price for a big item. Try not to have such a gigantic, beautiful Cadillac of products and be too scared to charge enough for it. I've done that, okay? undercharged myself, and I left the money on the table. And I actually had the joint venture partners go, dude, this is a great product. You should be charging 3 times as much, because I would have made 3 times as much. They did it anyway, but, I left money on the table. You don't want your joint venture partner to have to tell you how to run your business, okay? That's what I'm trying to get at here. And also, if you have a bad track record, if you're just an ass, and word's getting around, don't expect people to work with you. And sales letter or e-commerce delivery, if you don't have those sharp and tested and make sure that they work and they're easy for the customers to buy and get their product, that's going to hold people back. And no upsells. Upsells, the reason you want to have upsells after someone buys the product is because the joint venture partner wants more money. So if you're able to sell some more things, a couple weeks later, after you have the initial sale, you're going to give those joint venture people's additional commission. And they want to see that they have that. And also selling an item that has nothing to do with the partner's business. Obviously, we just talked about that. That's the biggest turnoff of all, because it obviously looks like you didn't do your homework when you were researching the partner. And if you don't know the partner's business or what their community finds valuable, then you're just a douche, basically, and you're not going to get anywhere with that. So I had a few joint ventures. I showed you my case study here about when I first started. Well, I wanted to work with Tom, because I was actually working for Tom. So I thought, hey, the dude might cut me a break, right? With my new Stealth Persuasion, or the YouTube Super Secrets one, the one I'd already proven sold with some other joint venture people. And he wouldn't work with me, and he was like, I want to wait until I don't promote anybody until I see how everyone else is doing, and I want to see the conversion rate and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, so I waited, I think about, I waited a little while to work with him, and he made me wait at least like 5 or 6 months. So that's not November 2010. This is actually 2011 that I did this with him, and it was after the 6-month run that I had from June to November. And finally, I said, Tom, will you work with me? And he goes, okay. So he ran it, and he said, let's do it on Saturday morning. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? I don't want to do it on who's going to buy something on a Saturday morning, okay? And he said, trust me on it. And I said, all right. So I showed up at like 10 o'clock or something like this at the school with coffee and donuts. So he ran the Super Secrets. Well, he promoted it to his list, and that added instantly that week, 2 or 3 days before the webinar, he promoted it, added 600 people to my list. Boom, just like that in 2 days. That was great. I did a presentation. It was 60 minutes long, and then I had a 30-minute Q&A. At the end, I sold the product. It was $97, called the Easy Video Creation. And there was also an upsell at checkout, right at checkout, that they would have to actually take X out or uncheck if they didn't want to buy it. And it was just a $10 a month thing to a membership site. Well, I'll be damned if Saturday morning wasn't one of the best webinars I'd ever had. And we sold 59 systems. That was $5,723 in 90 minutes. And I gave Tom a 40% commission, so that was $3,400 for me and $2,200 for him. So he was sitting around eating my donuts, and he made $2,289 eating my donuts on a Saturday morning. 32 people, this is the kicker, 32 people signed up for the upsell. So that was $320 a month, every month. That went on for, some of those people stayed on for over a year. And I split that with Tom as well. So that was an extra $3,840 a month just for me. And in the average time they stayed a member, I was making nearly $4,000 from an upsell every year to a membership site that I'd had for a long time, that I didn't know how to monetize or do anything with. It was just a bunch of stuff to look at. So that was my great first joint venture with Tom, and a lot of the big names that I got to work with, because he gave me that break after that, had very similar results. So this is why it's so important that this works. Well, How do you contact these people? What do they want? And who are they? Well, I simply emailed them. And I have an exact letter that I'll give you at the replay of this tomorrow that you can download, and you can use it as a template. So you don't have to try to reinvent the wheel here. You can actually just use which one that I've used. And they react. It's gotten positive results. I also find people at networking events, like meetup groups and things like that, because you never know who has a giant database of people and where they're hiding out. So it's not always on the internet. There's also large associations, like Small Business Association of Chicago, for instance, or the Engineer Society of Florida. You know, these people have newsletters and databases and email lists of tens of thousands of people. And they're willing, some of these people have never even heard of a joint venture, and they'd be willing to share that with their giant database if you just explain to them how this works, because they're always looking to make money. Think of the NSA. The NSA has different, different chapters all over the country. Some of those chapters have, 1,500 people on the database. They're always looking for fundraising and income-raising opportunities. So if you approach them the right way with a great offer in a joint venture, they're approached very little with that. So this is something that you could really take advantage of. You can also get a second-tier introduction from a big name, which is what Tom's done for me a lot. He called a few people up and said, hey, you should call Colin up and see if he'll do the webinar for you. And I don't even know what that's worth, because I made tens of thousands of dollars just from him recommending me to other people. Also, here's a trick that Daniel Hall taught me, which is just to simply do favors for people. Reach out to a big name that typically wouldn't work with you because they don't know you, and ask them, or do something nice for them, such as ask if you can edit some of their videos, or do a website or business critique for them, or offer a free ebook to their list, or something like that. Don't just approach real big name people just begging for a joint venture, because it really doesn't work that way. They're just going to get kind of offended that you didn't reach out earlier and get to know their business. So I do favors for people, and once they get to know me, then they warm up to me. But cold calling these people, especially the real big names, can be a little bit difficult. So I offer copy critiques, website critiques. I send it out of the kindness of my heart. But the critique acts as a sneak peek into what I'm selling. So I'm offering my expertise out there, and it's also giving them the idea that I know what I'm talking about. And they'll be more receptive later when you reach out. Here's what to say in the email, and I'll have the email for the replay. But quickly, it's just explain who you are and how you're familiar with them. And go ahead and say, hey, look, I've been on your newsletter for a long time, or I subscribe to your blog, and I really think that a joint venture partner with you would be great for both of us. And then get right to the point. Don't drag it on. Just get to the point. They're busy people, and tell them, look, I have a free webinar that teaches such and such, sells a $97, $197, whatever product at the end, and that's it. And tell them the other names of people that you've worked with, and if you haven't, don't worry about that. But if you have, definitely put those names out there. And also tell them straight up the commission rate. Don't make them ask you. So you say, I'm offering a 40%, 50%, whatever it is commission that you want to do on all the product sales and recurring upsells. Make sure you spell that out. And of course, let them know how long a presentation is going to be. Don't make it 3.5 hours or bore them to death. Keep it around 60 minutes, and tell them you'll have a live Q&A at the end, because they love that, because it makes clarification possible for all the people on the call. And then just simply say, I believe this is a complementary product to what you teach, and that your community will really love. You say it like that, it really goes a long way, because that's what they really want to hear. They don't really want to hear a bunch of begging and slick talk. They want to know what's it going to do for their family, for their community, the people that they nurture every day. They don't want to put some schmuck on there that's going to talk a bunch of stuff and try to sell a bunch of garbage. They really want to know, are you for real? And are you going to nurture my list and keep them special? And that's all you need to say, and they'll be very receptive to it. Believe it, it's worked a million times. You also want to explain briefly what e-commerce system you're using, so they don't have to ask you that question. Are you using PayPal? Are you using one shopping cart? I mean, what is it? And they also kind of want to know what affiliate system. Just throw that in. And then, of course, here's the biggie, and a lot of people don't do this. Go ahead and give them access to the product. Give it to them. Give them a place where they can see the inside of it and watch the product and dig into it before they say yes. A lot of people will approach a joint venture partner and forget that part, and the joint venture partner will have to ask them, hey, well, send me the product. And then you got to kind of work it out. Sometimes the product's not finished, and then you get busted on it. Just make a product first, and then give them access to it. Show them the sales letter. Show that it's converting, that it's decent, and just make sure you have lots of contact information so that they can just call you if they have a question. Simple formula that, trust me, I did all of these wrong over numerous times and had to go back and refine this letter so it had everything in it to where they didn't come back either rejecting it or asking me a bunch of silly questions. So this letter I'm going to give you tomorrow as a replay, really important. It was also part of the swipe files in the Stealth Persuasion. So if you have that already, and a lot of people here have already bought it, you can go in there and find it in the swipe files. And it has the JV letter, and it's really cool. Here's the different commission structures. And these are important. Remember, we don't want to offer too small a commission on a big product or too big a commission on a small product or anything like this. You want a decent product with a decent price, with a decent commission. It has to all be perfectly interlocked. My recommendations, this has worked every time, 25% on physical products such as books or DVDs or binders or systems or anything that or CDs, anything you're printing and shipping and mailing out. Because of the cost of all that, 25% is reasonable for a joint venture commission. And they'll say, yeah, that sounds good. On digital products, which are the ones like I sell, which are all either MP3s, PDFs, or streaming videos from just a download page, all my products are digital. So I'm able to offer a 40, sometimes 50% commission, and there's no cost of goods sold to me. It's free to mail off, electrons. It's free to mail off a download page. It doesn't cost me anything. So I'm able to wiggle a higher commission, and because I do that, that creates a better relationship and more success rate. Personal products such as consultations or membership sites or group coaching, somewhere around 40% is still good for that, because that may be costing you some time, but hopefully you've worked your time out to where you've got multiple people, such as a membership site or a group coaching model, to where you're bringing in a lot of money, so splitting it 30 to 40% or so is still giving you quite a bit of money. Now, if you're giving away something like an ebook, which I don't suggest, or an app, which I really don't suggest, but if you're able to get someone to say yes to something small like that, you really want to sweeten the deal by making sure it's at least 80% commission. Because here's the reason why. For people to get an ebook or an app, they're going to have to sign in somewhere to download it. And of course, they're going to sign in to your website to download the ebook or the app. So what you're doing is you're getting maybe only 20% of, you're only keeping 20% of the money, but you're getting the entire lead, and not just a prospect that opted in for free, but someone who bought something. Someone who buys something is a far hotter lead than someone who opts in for free. So that becomes a valuable lead. And in this business, I've paid as much as $1.75 to get one lead for an email, especially like Facebook or something like that. So sometimes, but I'm able to turn that into money over time. So don't be scared to offer an 80% commission on an ebook or an app that you might have, because that joint venture partner will say absolutely yes, because it sounds like they're getting a lot of the money and you're being very generous. With that in mind, that generosity in mind, I came up with the most killer list building idea that I've ever come up with, and I'm going to share this with you right now, and I've never shared it before except on the paid webinar that we had here about this subject a few months ago. This is my top big secret that I've ever come up with, and I walked for miles in the woods coming up with this, and finally couldn't wait to get back to try it out, and it works like a dream. It's offering 100% commissions on the sale of products. Now, Don't call me crazy before you freak out and curse and, slam down the laptop here tonight. Don't think, hear this out. Don't think this is crazy. This gets the biggest names on board that you could possibly have, and this is the reason I do it. I want to offer 100% commission on the sale of a product because I can literally, from a big name, get thousands and thousands of people on my list because these big names have the highest receptive lists and the biggest numbers, and they're very protective of them, and they won't share with them. So what I do is I say, I will offer to pay you 100% of all the sales of the product that I sell on this webinar tonight in exchange for the emails. And they go, yes. And I've worked with someone huge. And so the product is accentuated. It creates something that they use to become better, and it builds my brand up. And also, when they buy it, it triggers autoresponders that send out upsells and advertises other services that I'm not necessarily obligated to pay commissions on, okay? Because I'm already giving them 100%. That 100% has a few stipulations. And one, they're giving me the email. And two, there won't be any commissions on future sales. So it's a give and take here, but it really works, and I've tried it. So I don't owe any additional commissions on sales, but that many people, I can make a fortune off that many people added to my list. And also just that big person, I want that big person to tell their list, and you do too, that you're the big expert in your industry and that people should respect you and come to the webinar and buy the product. And if enough big people say that you're someone just like them, that's how you make it big in this industry. You can't fake it, the fame part of it. You can't just say that you're the best and plaster that all over the place. No one's going to believe it unless someone else says it first. So keep that in mind. So this was so popular, an idea, so wild and freaky and far out an idea, that 100% commission model, if you try it, could add literally 10,000 high-quality people to your list in a year's time. And selling to those people, the 10,000 people, throughout the following year could earn literally $100,000 in income. And these numbers are not hocus pocus. They're real. All because you spent some time on a webinar pitching a product to a major database or email list, and you were able to give away 100% of the commissions. That might have been $5,000, $6,000 that you gave away. But look at the money you'll make over the following long run. You have to think ahead like a chess game in this business, or it won't work. All right, let's look at what big secret number 2 is. Another great big secret, not quite as profound as the last one I just did, but still big nonetheless. It's called the bonus product, and I do this with a lot of people, and this is very easy to do, and it doesn't cost you really anything. Just offer one of your products. You have a small product like a book or an app or an ebook, not your major product system, but something small. And you just offer that as a bonus to some big names person's big giant product. And so if they have a product for, say, like $497, and they sell it to hundreds of people out there because they're big rich person, big guru guy, during a product launch, your small item is one of the bonuses in there. And all those people that buy that thing has to opt in to download it. When they do that, that creates a super hot lead on your email list. So now you've got the name on your email list that isn't just some guy getting a free ebook, a tire kicker. You've gotten someone who spent $500 buying someone else's product, and now they're opting in to get your app, ebook, little template, whatever you're giving away. And now you've got someone who's proven that spent money on things that are in your industry. And it's far more valuable. And the more people I have of those on my list, the more money I make down the road in the long run selling products of my own. So that's big secret number 2. Fantastic opportunity. All right, quickly, I just want to review this. Again, I want to reiterate how important this has been. Again, transparency here. It's what I do. I'm not afraid to show you what I've done and how I've done it And literally, if I hadn't done joint ventures, I'd still be at a list of maybe, 3,000 people at the most. And that's over like 4 or 5 years of doing this. Okay. It's very hard to build a list, but I wouldn't have the substantial community that I have today of hot leads that constantly come in every time I do this. Also, I wouldn't have made the real money I've made. I don't make $5,000 doing anything. Okay. I've only done it through major product launches or joint venture promotions. And I've relied on other big people to promote me to their list because there was a time, I was just a nobody, and I wasn't making any money and I didn't know how to do this. And this was the only way I knew, someone giving me a break, but I had to reach out and make the effort. And then I had to figure out what I was doing right or wrong. And it's extremely important. If I hadn't done a joint venture partner, I would have made 10% of the money that I've ever made doing this all these years. Because that 10% only come from Kindle books, selling stuff like from a web store, selling things on Amazon, selling things at speeches. That's it. 90% of my money has been from joint venture promotions and the residual selling to the list that I have built from getting those people into my database. And that is the God's honest truth about this. So in review, you want to pay commissions on time and in full if you're going to do this. Remember to pay your commissions on time. These people work out different terms, but it's usually 30 days. No one expects you to pay commissions on canceled orders. Okay, so if you wait 30 days and you have a return policy and someone cancels the order, you don't owe commissions on that, and that's perfectly okay. Please have an exceptional customer service, or it makes the partner look bad. If their customer buys something from you and they email the big guru and say, hey, Colin didn't deliver, or I couldn't find this thing, or it gave me a virus, or he wouldn't answer the phone, that joint venture partner will not only never work with you again, but he's going to tell all his friends to avoid you as well. You don't want to be blacklisted just because they get all the complaints because you didn't do your job right. So make customer service the number one priority even over your product itself, because that's what people really want. And you need to build an extended relationship. Once you work with a joint venture partner, keep talking to them. Send them birthday notices. Friend them on Facebook. Send them a Christmas card. Whatever you got to do to keep the relationship going. And he'll offer referrals. The referral from a joint venture partner to his big name friends will keep you making money over and over again. And it keeps you from having to reach out and do all that effort. And don't be scared to ask for referrals and introductions, because if the partner really liked you, they have no problem referring you to their friends. If you made money for them and the product was quality and the customers loved it, then they almost want to tell their friends because they know that they're doing them a favor. But they don't remember to do that unless you ask. So always remember to ask for the referrals. Now, I know a lot of us are scared to have joint ventures, and we just seem to kind of balk at the whole idea. And we're going to have a Q&A here in just about 2 minutes. So hang in there in case there was a lot of material, so I'll get to the questions. But I want to make sure you know that you really need to just go for it. Don't be scared. Use the letter I'm going to show you. And try this. If you have a product, just design a product that you know with the right price point. It's your signature product. You know that it's really good, that people are going to love it. And don't be afraid to put it out there, because if you don't ask and you don't approach people, then you won't know. And they won't know of you. And a lot of people are looking for money-making opportunities. So it's extremely important that you do that. Plus, I can help you design the proper joint venture campaign by looking at your product, looking at your sales letter, crafting the intro letter, and also trying to identify potential joint ventures in your market. Well, why would I do that for you? Well, I have something called the Dream Alliance. And the Dream Alliance is not just a group coaching model. It is a bit of a personal coaching, and it's turning into that lately. And it's every first, second, and third Tuesday of every month. And the topics that I focus on are something like this: things that make real money, real case studies, solution-based topics, not just, weird flavors of the week that don't really make any, that come and go, topics come and go. And I'm sick of webinars where or group coaching where they're just talking about like a lot of topics. I'm talking about stuff that really works and that can be proven to work. In the Dream Alliance is also a forum, so you can ask friends. There's a mastermind group that you can join over on Facebook. It's got downloadable files, checklists, handouts, PDFs, past recordings, all this stuff. And it's a place to build a relationship with me and the other members. So all of us together are helping you critique these things. So it's about you. It's not about my business. It's not about my teachings. It's about you and your business. They're the focus, not me and not some big wig kind of person, but it's all about you. All we do is talk about you. This community coaching is a place where new ideas, such as building a joint venture strategy or campaign, can take shape, where I give you valuable input and every member gives you valuable input. On first Tuesdays, we talk about topics with real case studies. On the second Tuesdays, we do graded homework assignments, and we have an open Q&A with me and with everyone else. And then on the third Tuesdays, we put someone in the hot seat. The hot seat is where I personally critique any part of your business. Could be ideas, sales strategies, list building, product creation, speeches, video creation, anything you want. Last week, we had Al Borowski on there, and we went through his sales letter process and found a huge hole in his funnel where people were not buying, or it was stopping them from buying, and he didn't really realize it. And we found it live, right on the hot seat, in front of everyone. And it was invaluable amount of personal coaching because of that. So the hot seat was actually like an opportunity to talk to me and let me go through your entire process and find what's going on with it, why it's not working, how it can be better, and I'll show you exactly how to fix it. And we went right to his website, actually signed in his website live on the hot seat while everyone was watching, and discovered what was going on, why he wasn't making any money. So that was a lot of fun. And then we did that with Joyce Dillon as well. And we looked over her copy, and everybody was, it was the coolest thing that I've ever done in my entire life, this Dream Alliance. And I'm so glad, so incredibly glad that I created it. And it's only $75 a month. That's $25 a week. And you're getting an opportunity to have personal live coaching with me, because as a lot of people know, I've given up on my monthly unlimited coaching. So this is the only opportunity to really work with me on that level. And there's so many opportunities to learn all this great stuff too. But here's the good thing: $75 a month over expertwebwriting.com/community. Cancel anytime. You can just try it out for 1 month if you like it. If you don't like it, then fine, you can leave. And next week's topic, and for the entire month after that, for the next following weeks, is creating a joint venture for your signature product. So last week we created the signature product. So if you join the Dream Alliance tonight or anytime this week or anytime next week or whenever, you'll have the recordings from how to build that we went through about building a signature product. And now we're getting into creating a joint venture. So this is your opportunity for only $75 for me to help you craft the perfect joint venture campaign for a product that you either is in development or that you already have. So you need to get out there and you need to start doing joint ventures. And this is the perfect opportunity for you to really get to the crux of this and let everyone, including myself, help you create something that can build wealth over a lifetime. And remember, you don't have to have a website. You don't have to have a list. You can be brand new and literally make thousands and thousands of dollars by reaching out with a valuable product that you know will help people. And isn't that why we're all here anyway, to be doing this? Isn't that our purpose on the internet, is to really help people? So if you have a product, this is your opportunity to reach more people than you ever thought possible. Not the Dream Alliance, but joint ventures. The Dream Alliance can help you do this. Okay, so I really want to invite you there. This has been a great time, and I'm glad you've been here tonight. So I want to go ahead and open the Q&A. There's a picture of beautiful Vicki and I. And remember the Dream Alliance. Share that with your friends, too. Expertwebwriting.com/community. I'd love to have you join. We can just join for 1 month. We can work on this campaign together. And you're able to email me, and you're able to ask questions in the Facebook group, and I'm always in there, and everybody can pitch in. It's been the coolest thing I've ever done, and I'm so happy that I finally developed it. And it's a great opportunity. So if you have any questions, I'd pop them in right now before the power goes out over here, because I see big, giant bolts of lightning. And I know that we went over a lot, so I'm not expecting you to digest all this stuff tonight. And I want to, again, thank you for your time, because I know that you're serious about your business and serious about joint ventures and probably wondering what they were, but I really wanted to show you just how powerful they were in case you didn't realize it. And because very few of us do sometimes. And I want to make sure that if you have any questions, you get them in right now. If you don't want to get them in right now, you can just send them to videopower@live.com. I'm going to put my email address in the chat box so you'll have it. I'm sure everyone's already got it, because pretty much the same people all the time on these things. So videopower@live.com, you can ask questions at any time. And joint ventures has just been the way I've done business. And, you know, I've been hearing a little bit about joint ventures from Milana Lewinsky and a couple other people that are putting out these webinars. There's a joint venture conference that I can send you the link to. I can't remember, it's Kent somebody, but I can't remember the name exactly right now. But a couple of my friends have gone to it, and I've always wanted to go to it, but I've always been busy selling jewelry at the time. But there's a whole seminar or a conference where you can meet potential joint venture partners and kind of pitch your product and your availability, and that's fantastic. Milana Lashinsky, and if you're familiar with her, she's got a joint venture where you get to join like a joint venture membership site where everybody congregates and looks for opportunities and products and joint venture pairings with big name people. It's like $2,000, so I'd hold off on that for a minute until you refine what we've learned here tonight. So if you have any questions there at all, Barbara's got a question. She says, she's asking about the 100% commission thing. Are you sure that they're always wanting commission? She says you're always wanting, the joint venture partner is always looking for ongoing commissions, especially recurring income. Yeah, absolutely. And why wouldn't they do that with the 100%? Well, you know, 100% commission, if you have a really good product and a good price point, you know, you could literally sell $5,000 worth of stuff, or $6,000 or $10,000 or anything like that. That's a lot of money. So when I approach someone with the 100% commission model, I tell them up front, I just have two stipulations: that the registrations, I'll get to keep the email registrations, and I'll give you all the commissions if you forego any future commissions. And they say yes for the most part, because first off, if they like your product well enough, then they have an opportunity to sell a product or give a product out to their community. So there's an amount of goodwill there. Secondly, for them to keep $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, even $2,000 or $1,000, it's a lot of money. So if you're really good at what you do and you have a good turnout and you're able to sell that product and have a good pitch on the webinar, they're going to make a fortune and they can keep all of it. And that's a huge monetary incentive, you know, to do this. And future income is not guaranteed. So like upselling and things you might do in the future, they don't have any idea whether or not you're really going to sell anything else later. Maybe you just stink at upselling. Maybe you have no other products. Maybe you just don't know what you're doing or whatever, but they're willing to take a big chunk now as opposed to worrying about little money later that may recur later. So put those stipulations up front. Be very transparent about that. Tell them why it's 100% commission. I've never yet had anyone turn that down, if you can believe that. So I'm trying to get the balls enough to ask somebody like Frank Kern or Tony Robbins, somebody to promote me, you know, because for the 100% commission, just because so far I'm batting 1,000 on it. And I don't know, man, maybe I could get like a super duper duper big name. I'm sitting here telling you guys need to go out and do this stuff. I haven't approached some of the big names because I'm chicken shit too, man, you know, and I haven't done it either. So I'm developing a new product, though. It's coming out October, called Stealth Conversion, and I'm going to try to swallow my pride or whatever and ask people that I'm literally shaking my boots to even contact. We're going to go through like 9 secretaries. So, I mean, I don't know the success rate on that, but I mean, I'd love to have somebody really, 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 really big. But there's big people out there where you can make a lot of money. John says, Cousin Colin, you have a following. Yeah, I do. definitely appreciate that, man. And glad you're here tonight. I appreciate everyone's time here. So if you have any questions about joint ventures, pop them in. I know that if Joanne was here, she'd have like 90 of them, you know. And I did get a little bit, I got a few emails back real quickly. I got a few emails back when I sent this email out tonight or this afternoon saying that in the offline world, there's been a lot of problems with working with people that will promote your stuff but not pay you commissions, and they'll keep the money and they'll run and all this kind of stuff. And I just want to, you know, that's obviously a problem, but I haven't had that problem mainly because I approach people that I know, you know, and I work with people first that I'm already familiar with. And you want to do a little bit of research. Don't just pick people that just because they have a big list or say they have a big list. You know, they need to prove it before you go through all this trouble. They need to at least give you a round number of what kind of people they have in a database and any way for them to kind of like prove that to you. Also, you want to do any research in the complaint department, like ripoffreport.com, and make sure these people haven't been, they have bad people or haven't been busted doing something. You know, you want to be a little careful in who you pick, but for the most part, decent names in your industry from people that you might have bought something from. It's probably a really good person to contact. So the way I did it was I just contacted people that I was familiar with, that I knew were good people, that I have purchased little products from or whatever from the past, or just been on a webinar. And I did that, and it was cool, and I liked it. And after I got a few of those people under my belt, they were a little bit smaller people, but they're really nice. Then I started using my Tom favoritisms. He cut me a break by doing one for me. And then from that, I was able to say, hey, well, Tom did it. And then I got a lot bigger names, but there's still people out there that I'm still scared to talk to. Well, now my project is a little outdated, so I'm waiting for to make my new one. I'm really being honest, you know, with you guys. It's not always as easy as it seems out there. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm never here to bullshit you at all. I'm always going to tell you exactly what I've done, what numbers I've actually made, how I did this, and all the places I've screwed up, and how people have given me favors and all sorts of good stuff. So always take heart that you're getting the best honest information from me on these things. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out of here because I could really use another bottle of wine down at 7-Eleven, and there's a storm coming that I've never even, I can't believe the size of this thing. Vicky's got the Weather Channel on, so she's scaring the living crap out of me now, because I think that the electricity is going to hit the phone line. It's going to come through the laptop converter, and then it's going to come out the headphone jack, and then fry my brain out right between the two earmuffs of my headphone, which is actually, you know, kind of like, looks a lot like some electric chair device from the Green Mile or something like that. You know? I don't want to see all that going on, so I'm going to get the heck out of here. If you have any questions, definitely get out, and please join the Dream Alliance. A lot of you here are already in it. We're having a great time, and I love to have you out there because this is the coolest thing. We have so much fun. We've been laughing, and it's just been great. There's recordings, and you guys absolutely love this. And you don't even know how much you would love it and how great it is. I got to get some testimonials I can mail everybody, but you would really have a good time with the Dream Alliance. It is the #1 coolest thing I have ever thought of in my entire life. Every time I get off of one session, I'm just smiling, and I look at Vicki and I say, man, that was great. You know, I wish the whole world knew about it because it's just awesome. Hot seat topics, everything. So please join me over there, or at least tell your friends if there's someone you know that could benefit from all this great group coaching in the Dream Alliance. Please tell them and get them to come over. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great night, and this will be up with the recording with the link to the JVer that I've created. You guys have a great night. I'll talk to you real soon. Thank you for your time tonight, and I appreciate your attendance and being here, and we'll talk real soon.